What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my garage. I bought one of these turkey fryer kits. Something in that broke. It had this burner in it at the time, is what it came with. You know, one of the what they call a high pressure burner. Well, I couldn't find the little fitting that fit in here properly, the jet fitting. So then it turned out that once I got to looking for just a fitting, I was actually able to buy this burner on Amazon for the same price as what I was able to find an orifice fitting basically anywhere at. So I went ahead and bought this, and it's actually what's called a low pressure burner, which, you know, with RVs, we're regulated to 15 psi if you're using the onboard system, which is exactly what I wanted to do. At 15 psi's, you know, that's actually pretty low for what most of these, you know, propane cookers, you know, things like that go for. So this was a low pressure cooker that was rated for a lower, for closer to what RVs run at, are already regulated at. However, once I got to using it, it didn't really work that well. So I had to find a remedy. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just demonstrate how it burns now, even though this is supposed to be a low pressure burner. That's all the way up. If you ever use one of these, you know that that's just really, that's not enough of a flame for what's supposed to be on here. That's, you know, that's is a little bit better than what it has been, but if you're, you know, trying to cook with other things, it's just not enough flow for what it really needs to be to really, you know, bring something up to a boil, especially if you're frying or you know, low country boil or whatever, or if you're trying to use, you know, any of the other propane accessories at the same time. So what I'm going to do to try to get a little better burn out of my setup with using my outdoor kitchen and potentially using my outdoor kitchen and using my indoor kitchen and all of my accessory all at the same time, is I'm going to replace my regulator here. There is a tag on here that says, you know, the unit of what it is. I looked it up. It is rated at 150,000 BTUs per hour. What does that mean? Well, I'm not really sure, but it's the flow rate of how fast that it lets the fuel go through. You can Google that, whatever. Despite growing up and working my entire life in or most of my life in a hardware store, I couldn't tell you what it is. But this setup, this one right here, this regulator, which is from Marshall Excelsior, it's an MEGR-253H, and I guess the H must stand for high flow. It is 300,000 BTUs per hour, or is it 325? Either way, it's significantly higher than what came factory on my unit from Forest River. So I'm going to swap that out and see if I can't get a little better burn on that burner. That's the highest consumption I've got. I've also got a Camp Chef oven that I use, and it is great. I fixed it up so I could hook it up to my propane. However, I can only use either the burners or the oven, not both at the same time. So hopefully this will remedy that as well. I'm not going to bore you with changing out the regulator, but basically, you know, if you're watching this video, you know what to do. You just take these, you unhook the connections here and here, and then the main line down here at the bottom, and then, you know, re-wrap everything with tape, tighten it all back up, good to go. Okay, so here's the new unit installed. It was relatively easy. I did have to take some of the fittings off the old regulator. Not a big deal. I've checked it. Doesn't appear to be any leaks. You know, I've got green. I've just got on one side. It is automatic switching. So the bracket that was on the old regulator doesn't fit to secure it. So we'll have to modify that or make something new. But in the grand scheme of things, that's no big deal. However, now I am going to go test it and see if it makes any difference. So I'm going to turn it on here and see what it does. Just give it just a little bit to begin with. Ooh. Yeah, already that light's a lot easier than it did in the past. Ooh, yeah. You probably can't see it from the video, and it is difficult to see, but it is. It's not as powerful as it would be if it was hooked directly to a tank through its own independent hose, but that is significantly stronger flame than what was there with the previous regulator. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and hook up the stove and see how it does. Okay, so right here I've got, this is the regulator that's supposed to go in little small tanks, and I got an adapter with a quick connect. There are, I am going to look into just doing a quick connect directly onto this fitting right here. So, but right now we're going to check and see how fast, how much better it burns, if at all. If it'll light. Might take a minute to purge. Alright, that one's not lighting. Oh, that lit. That's pretty good. Alright, that one, yes. Now let's see if the oven... There we go. Now it's going. Oh, that's going pretty good. Now let's come back and see what happens. Oh yeah, look at that. Alright, I think we just had some air in there. That's actually burning rather well. I think, oh man, I should probably get that other hose and check that and see if it works at the same time too. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I went ahead and lit that. It doesn't burn quite as high with the stove and the oven going, but it's going pretty good. You know, they're both teed off under here from the same spot, which is, you know, connected to the accessory line on the camper. I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, I think that's a significant improvement, even though it's still not what it would be if they were each on their own individual propane sources, or, you know, small bottles, big bottles, whatever it might be. But I'd say all connected to the same source. That's doable. That's totally doable. All right, so all in all, I think that was a success. My initial thought, as I said earlier, was to add a second line for a high pressure line that was non-regulated, and then use, you know, secondary regulators like is already on my stove, or, you know, an inline regulator, which I do actually have here, to run my cooker. But I think I'm kind of satisfied with how that is, at least for now. Now I realize that for a lot of people, they're going to watch this video and they're going to say, why do you need all that stuff? Well, I don't, honestly. But I have pretty good size travel trailer that has an outdoor kitchen. We don't travel as much as I would like to in the year, but when we do, we like to do a lot of stuff. So when we go to the beach, which we try to do at least 2 or 3 times a year, you know, I want to be able to cook whatever I want. You know, we might go for Thanksgiving. I want to be able to fry turkey. You know, we go during the summer. Low country boil. Whatever might be the case, I want to be prepared to at least do what I want to do. Now, do we have to take all that stuff with us every time we go? Absolutely not. However, I have found that outdoor stove from Camp Chef, which has 2 burners and an oven, that thing is awesome. I generally in the mornings put a griddle top, just a cast iron griddle top, you know, Lodge or, you know, whatever. The one I have is a Lodge just because it fits perfectly. You don't have to, you know, go buy a new one or anything like that. Originally, I bought that for a different kind of camping that we do a couple times a year where we don't have all those kind of amenities, so I wanted to have that. So I fixed it so that I could use it in the camper, and let me tell you, it's great. So I put the griddle on there. I cook breakfast on it. I don't usually cook bacon just because it's got so much grease. I usually do that separately. But it's been amazing. We cook a lot of stuff on it. I also get a lot of questions about it when we're at campgrounds, especially the big campgrounds when people drop by on their golf carts. I get questioned every time I cook on it. So, is it too much? Probably. And I'm not going to deny that. Is it great to have? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. That is one of the things that goes with this every time. Now, the big fryer that I was working on earlier to try and get to work better, rarely do I even take that. I think I've only ever used it once, but I like to have that option to have it if we want to use it. Now, as I said, I do want to modify it a little bit so it travels a little better. Because it's really not the best, and it really is cumbersome to try and bring. That being said, I feel happy with the way it turned out. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm not making any money off any of these videos. Not yet, anyway. It would be nice sometime in the future, but I don't rely on it. I have a day job. But subscribe, thumbs up. Try to do some of my upgrades on my RV. Eventually, I'd like to do a little more of our travel stuff, but if any of you guys out there, you know, RV, which obviously you are if you're watching this video, you know how crazy it is to get everything, get down the road, get everything set up, get everything going. Now, add the component to trying to video all that, forget it. So, but maybe we'll get some travel blogs in here. That would be nice. So, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.